What's going on, guys? Welcome to my third and final mock draft. In this one, I'll actually be predicting every single pick of the first round. So we're just going to get right into it here, guys. With the first pick, I don't think New York Islanders do anything too crazy. They take the consensus number 1, Matthew Schaefer, left defenseman. Not only is he the best defenseman in the draft class, he's also considered the best player in the draft class. So I think that's an easy pick for them. They got lucky moving up to that spot. Really no reason to overthink it. Now, at number 2, the San Jose Sharks, who I think really wanted Schaefer. Add another star blue liner to their prospect pool of Sam Dickinson. Unfortunately, they're just going to have to settle for Michael Misa, who's a pretty good consolation prize. Best forward in this draft class, can play center or wing. Put up a ton of points this year in the OHL. After not getting picked to the World Junior team, whether they play on the wing with Celebrini or just have, Celebrini as your 1 and him as your 2. Definitely, a ton of forward depth now in their top 6. It's going to be looking very nasty in the future. After that, the number 3 spot, the Chicago Blackhawks. I have them taking Anton Frondell. Probably the best two-way forward in this draft class. A lot of, rumors about, the Blackhawks potentially taking him. I think they're probably just looking for a really solid number 2 center behind Connor Bedard. Obviously, a lot more defensive than Bedard. So if you have Bedard doing all your kind of offensive stuff, Frondell can take all the tough matchups. Obviously, they're looking towards the future, building like a total team, and they probably think, he fits the best. Obviously, can, score and stuff too, otherwise would not be going number 3. Now, number 4 here, I feel like this is where the draft really opens up. No idea what Utah's going to do. They also got really lucky moving up 10 spots to the 4 spot. I have them taking Porter Martone. I think the Utah management just really likes, those bigger players. Martone, of course, power forward winger, probably the best, winger in this draft class. Can throw hits, can score. I think he's kind of the perfect player that they like, so I think they probably take him, especially too. He's considered, top 5 level talent. Number 5 here, Nashville Predators. Another team, I'm not really sure what they're going to do. I think they don't overthink it. I think they take James Hagens, one of the most skilled forwards in the draft class. Start of the year, or maybe last year, was a projected number 1, has since slipped. I think he probably still goes in the top 5. And the Preds too, a down year. If they think they can bounce back, no reason why you can't be patient with Hagens. Doesn't have to make the NHL, next season or anything. So if I'm them, I'm looking for the guy with most potential, highest ceiling. That's James Hagens. Next up here, number 6, the Philadelphia Flyers. Kind of need a bit of everything, so you're going best player available, in my opinion. That is Caleb Denoye. Centerman there, pretty good size, 6'2". Played in the Q, definitely the best player from the Q in this draft class. I think, potential number 1C, at least a 2C. You look at their center position, not the greatest. Not only best player available, but also fits a positional need. Next up here, number 7, Boston Bruins. Kind of the same thing as the Philadelphia Flyers. Could probably use a little bit of everything, but lucky for them, they get Jake O'Brien, who's also a centerman, which you could argue is their, most needed thing. Right now, you have Pavel Zach or Elijah Lindholm as your 1C, not the greatest. Jake O'Brien projects to be a top 6 centerman, if not a number 1. Obviously, too, with them, if they do enter this retool, they can be patient. So no reason to rush him in or anything, but definitely a great prospect to have for the future. Now, after number 8, we have the Seattle Kraken. Personally, I think they're fine at center position, so I'm thinking they're going to go best player available. It works out well for them. It is Victor Eklund, a left winger there. I think, they definitely could use a winger. A lot of skill. Obviously, you could go maybe with a defenseman for them, or maybe you go for a centerman. It's a bit more two-way, but you've already got Beniers and Wright down the middle, Stevenson as well. I think Victor Eklund would fit in there perfectly. Now, number 9 here, the Buffalo Sabres. Haven't made the playoffs in 14 years. They're another team that could probably use anything. I personally have them taking Radim Mertka. Big defenseman, 6'6", played in the WHL. He's Czech. Looking at their depth chart, I think the right side could use some work. I think they got a lot of forwards in the prospect pool. Goaltending, you got Devin Levi. So Mertka there fits what they could use. Plus, he should be a late top 10 pick. Next up here, number 10 with the Anaheim Ducks. I'm not too sure what they're going to do. I feel like I have a kind of, feeling, though, it's going to be Brady Martin. He's got a lot of grit to his game. Think of, a Matthew Brady Tkachuk. Skill-wise, though, probably more towards, a Sam Bennett. Not quite as high as the Tkachuks. I think, the Ducks, they definitely like that. They just traded away Trevor Zegras. Didn't have enough, defense or grit to his game. Brady Martin definitely fits that bill. Now, number 11 here, I should mention, guys, Pittsburgh Penguins picking back-to-back. The Rangers originally had the number 12 pick, but decided to actually let the Penguins have it and keep their 2026 first, which very interesting, because that's telling me that they think they could potentially be picking higher than 12 in 2026 and are worried about potentially winning the McKenna lottery. Or they could just feel the 2026 draft class a lot deeper than the 2025. So even if they're picking, say, 17 next year, they think at 17 next year, they'll get a better pick at 12 this year. Could be a mix of both. Obviously, we'll probably never know, but getting back to the Penguins, guys, at number 11, I have them taking Roger McQueen. I think at this point, probably best player available. Did have some injury issues, but he's a big centerman, 6'5", could also play the wing. You look at the Penguins, they're definitely building for the future. You still have Crosby, Malkin, Letang. I'm not really sure what they do with those guys. They just kind of let them ride out the rest of their careers, but clearly a team selling. You're just looking for, high ceiling players. The number 12 here, I think they kind of go for balance, take the best defenseman still available. Jackson Smith at 12 would actually be potentially a steal. Some people had him going in the top 10. So McQueen and Smith, I think, would actually be great work by Dubas at the 11 and the 12 spot. Next up here is my team, the Detroit Red Wings, number 13. Yzerman, I'm hoping, takes Keyshawn Aitchison, a left defenseman. We could definitely use him in the future to round out that top 4 with Edvinsson, Seider, Standing Pellica. I think he'd be the perfect pick for us. Now, if Yzerman doesn't go with him, I hope he takes this next guy, Carter Bear. I've got going to the Columbus Blue Jackets. He's a winger, can also play center, but usually if they're playing wing and center in junior, they'll be a winger in the NHL. He's got a good motor, highly skilled. He's got that, like, kind of grit to his game. So I think could honestly be a great player for the Columbus Blue Jackets. And for them too, like, you're just taking best player available. It should be Carter Bear. Next up here, Vancouver Canucks. A team kind of in no man's land. I'm not really sure what direction they're heading in, so they're just taking the best player available. I think that could be Cole Breshny, a centerman from the WHL, played for Victoria, put up a good amount of points, has a solid offensive game. I think he's a guy that could definitely be a top 6 center in the future. And then finally here, guys, we have Montreal. We actually have back-to-back picks, but the first one here at 16, they take Justin Carbonneau here from the QMJHL. I feel like, they're not going to be able to help themselves. Best player still available from the Q. He's also supposed to go in like the 14 to 18 range. I think this could be a great pick for Montreal. And as I mentioned, guys, the Canadians have back-to-back picks. So at 17 here, I'm actually taking Jack Nesbitt. He's the guy I've seen the most of in this draft. Played for the Windsor Spitfires. Last year, I didn't really, think much of him. I thought he might be a late pick in this draft. But then this season, he took a huge step. I think he won Most Improved Player in the OHL. Honestly, impressed me so much. He's got a big size, too. I think he's like 6'4", still really lanky, so could definitely like add some weight. But, does throw some hits. Really, I think, smart player in the offensive zone. Definitely kind of, I think, overshadowed by Greentree and Protis on the Spitfire team. But if, the Montreal Canadiens are looking for a future top 6 centerman, somebody to play behind Suzuki, I think Nesbitt might be the best available guy here. And because they have the back-to-back picks, I think with that number 16, you're going for whoever you think the best player is. And then at number 17, maybe you're trying to fill that need. Next year, guys, number 18, I have the Calgary Flames taking Logan Hensler. Right-hand defenseman, maybe can be like your future replacement for Rasmus Anderson. Look at the Flames, too. I think, like, offensively, they got some guys coming. Defensively, though, apart from, say, Parekh, I don't really think there's a ton there. So I think they're going to try and restock that defensive prospect pool. Number 19 here, St. Louis Blues. They're another team in a spot I think just goes best player available. At this point should be Lyndon Lakovic. I think, he's a solid winger, has a decent side, put up a good amount of points in WHL. Like I said, at this point, should be best guy available. And I think, too, last year they took 3 defensemen with their first 3 picks, so I'd be very surprised if they go the D-man at this spot. Next year, Columbus taking their second pick in the draft. They need a goalie, potentially more than any other team in the NHL. Joshua Ravensbergen, most people think, is the best goalie in this draft class. A lot of people say he should go first round. 20 might be a bit early for him, but you have that second first rounder. You want to make sure you get him before, say, Philly takes him. Another team I think is very goalie needy. I think at 20, that's not too bad. You're only taking him a little bit early. Next year, number 21, Ottawa Senators, another team. Should just be going best player available for me. That is Braden Coots. Played in the WHL for Seattle, centerman there. Was about a point per game. He's another guy maybe Montreal could take instead of Nesbitt. Nesbitt's got more size. I think also probably a bit more physicality to his game. So pick your poison, I guess. Like I said, for me, the Sens, you're just looking for best player available at this spot, 21, and I think that should be Coots. Next up here, guys, Philadelphia Flyers, number 22. I have them taking Sasha Boumediene. I think he's probably the best offensive defenseman still available at this spot. And the Flyers already got Denoye, who's a forward. Why not get a defenseman here? Just kind of make a balanced draft. And I think, too, should really help that prospect pool. Now to the Flyers, you got the Nashville Predators, number 23. They got 2 picks there, pretty close together. And I got them taking Cullen Potter here. Played for Arizona State this season. I don't think he played a full year when I was looking at his stats, but pretty good goal scorer. Also, too, known for like his speediness. A bit undersized at 5'10", but like the Preds, again, they're a team, weren't supposed to be bad this year, so late first rounder. Take a guy, kind of high risk, high reward. If he's, a speedy goal scorer, sometimes they don't pan out. They're like AHL stars, but other times they can be awesome players like a Paul Correa. So I think Potter there is a great pick for the Preds. LA Kings here at 24. I have them taking the best defenseman still available, and that is Cameron Reed. Played for the Kitchen Rangers. Saw a good amount of him as well. I think, for that spot, I was looking at the defensemen, the forwards. I think, the Kings maybe need a defenseman more, and he's about equal to the forward still available, so I got them going Reed. Next year, number 25, Chicago Blackhawks. I have them taking Malcolm Spence, kind of like the Anton Frondell pick. If the Blackhawks are really looking to the future and trying to build a well-rounded hockey team, they've got a lot of skilled guys already in that system. Malcolm Spence, I think, adds something they don't really have right now, which is that grit. Think like a Tyler Bertuzzi, much younger version. Whenever I saw him play, was always, on that forecheck, getting to players' faces after the whistles. He's got that tenacity to him. Also, too, can produce. Pretty good sized player. I think Spence at 25 is a nice pick for the Blackhawks. Now, at number 26, the Nashville Predators. I have them kind of doing the same thing they did with Potter here, and I have them taking Benjamin Kindle, right winger here, another guy that's not the biggest at 5'10", but put up a ton of points in the WHL, I think 99, good playmaker, Potter more of a scorer, Kindle's a playmaker. If these two guys could both turn out, I think that'd be great, steals there late in the first round. Number 27 here, Washington Capitals. This one is definitely just like a feeling. I got them taking Ivan Ryabkin. He's a Russian centerman. Obviously, the Capitals never afraid to take those Russians. He's a guy that's definitely dropped a ton in the draft class. May even go early second round now, but beginning of the year, he was supposed to be like a top 10 pick. So if he's, still considered a mid-first rounder by the Capitals, I feel like they'd probably run up to the draft podium to take him. Who knows exactly why he fell, but I feel like this could be a steal of a pick for the Capitals. Next year, number 28, we got the Winnipeg Jets. They go up and take Blake Fiddler, right-handed defenseman. I think, looking at them, they got a ton of forwards in the prospect pool. They're already a good team. Add a right-handed defenseman, probably the highest value position in the NHL behind a centerman. So why not add another? +2, I think this is a good value at that spot. Now, number 29 here, I got the Carolina Hurricanes taking Milton Gastrin. He's playing in the under 20 Swedish League, I believe. Put up over a point per game. Can play center, can play wing. I feel like he might be winger at the NHL level, but decent size, like 6'2". Puts up points. Carolina Hurricanes, their team looking for best value. Then they usually find that in the draft, so Gastrin could be the pick for them. And next year, guys, you have the San Jose Sharks, second pick in the first round, number 30 here. I got them taking Bill Zonin, left winger, power forward. I think he's like 6'2" or 6'3". Actually put up a ton of points in the queue, but I think for him the big thing is just his forecheck ability, always throwing hits on those defensemen, making it hard for them. And I think the Sharks, especially if they add Misa, they got him, Celebrini, Smith, Eklund. They need more of like a power forward type player, so I think Zon in there, getting them late in the first, would be a great fit. Philadelphia Flyers here, number 31. It's their third pick in the first round. They've already gotten a forward in Desnoyers and defenseman in Boumediene. I have them going with a perfect balanced first round and taking Jack Ivankovic here at the 31st spot. Again, just like Columbus, I think they really need a goalie. A lot of people have him going early second, but why risk? Some other team you're not expecting taking him. Make sure, you get that goalie. Obviously, they already do have Carson Bjarnson, but kind of like the Red Wings, they have Costa, they have Augustine. I think the goalie position is the toughest to predict in NHL, so why not have a couple guys and hope, one of them hits. And then finally here, guys, the Calgary Flames, second pick, number 32, round out the first round. I have them taking Henry Brusevich. They've actually got his brother, Hunter Brusevich, playing the AHL. They're both right-handed defensemen. Pretty similar, but honestly, I think if they like him, why not take kind of almost a clone of him? Those two guys could be, both in your top 6 in the future. So this one's kind of just like, I think, a fun pick, but we'll see what actually happens. Like I said, guys, that is it for the first round mock draft. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section below who you want your team to take in that first round if they do have a pick. And as always, guys, hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, leave that thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.